The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. A detailed summary overview. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, first published in 1989 by Stephen R. Covey, is a business and self-help book that has sold over 25 million copies worldwide. It is regarded as one of the most influential business management books of all time. The book's central premise is that true effectiveness comes from developing a strong character based on universal and timeless principles, rather than relying on quick-fix techniques or a focus on personality. Covey guides readers through an inside-out approach to change, arguing that we must first transform our character and paradigms, the way we see the world, to achieve lasting personal and interpersonal effectiveness. Part 1. The Foundation: Principles, Paradigms, and Habits. Covey introduces the foundational concepts of the book: principles, paradigms, and habits. Principles are the natural laws of human effectiveness that have been proven effective throughout history. Qualities like fairness, integrity, honesty, and human dignity. Paradigms are the mental maps through which we see and interpret the world. Covey argues that we see the world not as it is, but as we are, and that changing our paradigm is essential for significant personal change. Habits are the tools that enable us to act upon our principles and paradigms. Covey defines a habit as the intersection of knowledge, attitude, and skill. The character ethic versus the personality ethic. Covey critiques the self-help literature of recent decades for focusing on the personality ethic, techniques for developing a charming persona. He argues this emphasis is misplaced and that developing a sound character is more important. Forcing a personality that is inconsistent with one's character is like wearing a mask. It is deceptive, manipulative, and ultimately destructive. When a person's character is rooted in positive principles, their personality will emerge naturally. The maturity continuum: from dependence to interdependence. The book is structured as a progression through 3 stages of increasing maturity: dependence, the stage where one relies on others, characteristic of infancy and early development; independence, the stage of self-mastery, where a person can achieve things on their own. The first 3 habits are designed to help achieve this private victory. Interdependence, the stage where a person recognizes the value of others and learns to work effectively in teams. The next 3 habits are intended to help achieve this public victory. The P/PC balance. Covey defines effectiveness as a balance between P, production, getting desirable results, and PC, production capability, caring for the asset that produces those results. He illustrates this with Aesop's fable of the goose and the golden egg. A farmer kills his goose to get all the golden eggs at once, destroying his future capability. The lesson is that true effectiveness requires maintaining a balance between achieving results and preserving and developing the asset that makes those results possible. Part 2. The Private Victory Habit 1. Be proactive. This habit is about taking responsibility for your own life. Being proactive means more than just taking initiative. It involves recognizing that you have the freedom to choose your response to any situation between stimulus and response. Proactive people are driven by their carefully considered values, whereas reactive people are driven by their feelings, circumstances, and environment. Covey introduces 2 circles. Circle of concern, the wide range of things that bother you or that you care about. Circle of influence, the smaller subset of things you can actually do something about. Proactive people focus their energy on their circle of influence, thereby expanding it over time. Reactive people, conversely, focus on the circle of concern, which causes their influence to shrink. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. This habit is about developing a personal vision. Covey states that all things are created twice, First, a mental creation, and second, a physical creation. Habit 2 is the first, mental creation. It involves envisioning what you want in the future and planning to achieve it. The most powerful way to do this is to create a personal mission statement, a concise expression of your innermost values, character, and life goals. This statement acts as a constitution, guiding all your major life decisions and helping you ensure you are climbing the right ladder of success. Covey emphasizes that to be effective, one must act based on principles, not entities. The book suggests that if you center your life on principles, which are unchanging and dependable, you will remain steadfast in the face of challenges.
Habit 3. Put first things. First, this habit is about personal management and prioritization. Covey explains that leadership, habit 2, decides what the first things are, while management, habit 3, puts them first in daily life. He introduces a time management matrix to categorize tasks based on urgency and importance. Urgent, not urgent. Important quadrant 1, do. Crises, deadlines. Quadrant 2, plan. Long-term goals, relationship building, personal growth. Not important quadrant. 3, delegate. Interruptions, some meetings. Quadrant 4, eliminate. Trivial tasks, time wasters. The key to effectiveness is to spend the majority of your time on quadrant 2, important but not urgent activities. Focusing on these items, such as long-term planning and relationship building, increases your production capability, thereby reducing the number of crises that appear in quadrant 1. Most people mistakenly spend too much time in quadrants 3 and 4. Part 3. The public victory habit. 4. Think win-win. This habit establishes the foundation for successful interaction with others. It is based on the abundance mentality, the belief that there are enough resources and successes to share with everyone. This is contrasted with the scarcity mentality, which views life as a zero-sum competition where one person's success means another's loss. Covey argues that the goal of any interaction should be a mutually beneficial, win-win solution. If a win-win cannot be found, a no-deal outcome is preferable to a win-lose scenario as it preserves the relationship for future opportunities. Thinking win-win isn't a technique. It's a character-based code for human interaction. The foundation for this is the emotional bank account, EBA, a metaphor for the amount of trust built in a relationship. Our actions are either deposits, for example, kindness, keeping promises, win-win solutions, or withdrawals, e.g., breaking promises, disrespect, win-lose thinking. Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. This habit is about the art of empathic communication. Covey famously states, "Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply." This habit advocates for the opposite approach. First, genuinely seek to understand the other person's point of view intellectually and emotionally. This is done through empathetic listening, where you listen with the goal of getting inside the other person's frame of reference. By doing this, you give the other person psychological air and build immense trust, which is a significant deposit in your emotional bank account. This process involves diagnosing before prescribing. People rarely trust the advice of someone who doesn't understand them or their situation. Covey explains this habit through the 3 Greek modes of persuasion: ethos, personal credibility; pathos, empathetic side; logos, logic. He emphasizes that order matters, with credibility and empathy being the foundation for logic. Habit 6. Synergize. This is the habit of creative cooperation. Synergy means that the combined effect of a team is greater than the sum of its individual parts. 1 plus 1 can equal 3 or more. This occurs when people trust and respect each other enough to value their differences and work together on a problem, creating solutions that no one could have achieved alone. Synergy is the culmination of the previous habits. It is only possible when high trust exists and the emotional bank accounts are rich. Covey warns of negative synergy, where a group becomes toxic and each member actively works against the project. Part 4. The 7th Habit and Beyond Habit. 7. Sharpen the saw. This final habit is about self-renewal and continuous improvement. Covey uses the analogy of a lumberjack who becomes less and less effective if he never stops to sharpen his saw. To be effective over the long term, a person must renew themselves in 4 dimensions: physical, exercise, nutrition, stress management; mental, reading, learning, planning, writing; spiritual, meditation, prayer, service, study of principles; social/emotional, building relationships, service to others, empathy. Covey describes growth as an upward spiral that consists of 3 steps: learn, commit, and do. Each time you commit to and practice a principle, you learn it on a deeper level, allowing you to progress upward to more complex levels of understanding and application. Conclusion. Covey's work is not a quick fix, but a framework for character-based, principle-centered living. The 7 habits are designed to be an integrated, interdependent sequence, leading a person from dependence through independence to the ultimate stage of interdependence. At its core, the book is built on the idea that lasting personal change begins on the inside, and that true success is found by aligning one's life with timeless principles of effectiveness